Hey everyone, Flanker Jack here. I just wanted to put a video out. I haven't done one in quite a while, so thank you. Really about my experiences last week at Operation Lion Claw's Operation Flamingo at an abandoned shopping mall in the California-Nevada desert. Had a great time. Want to talk about the game a little bit. In advance, I apologize if the sound's a bit off. I'm trying out a new microphone setup, and I'm just trying to see how well it does. It's picking up a lot of ambient noise, I could tell. Anyway, so it was a airsoft event at a disused shopping mall that's right on the California. You ever driven from California to Nevada or to Vegas, and you go past the border areas, got a few casinos, gas station, Starbucks, and it's got used to have an outlet mall there. Most of the event tenants have moved out, and so we were able to go in there thanks to Lion Claws and their team to let us go in there and shoot some BBs at each other for a few days. So 3-day event. There was a night event and a team competition on Friday night. On Saturday we had 2 rounds of games lasting about 3 hours each, and then we had a final 3-hour game on Sunday. Overall, had a really good time. It was a nice place to play. I haven't really done a full indoor game like that before, so it was very nice. There were a lot of lessons learned, which is sort of what I want to talk about with my kit spread out here for you. And you know, there are a lot of pros. It was really, obviously it was a very organized event. They do a really good job of putting on events. Had a really good time. It was nice to run around. My first time actually playing with grenades, so that was a good experience, and thank God I had ear protection, which we'll talk about in a bit. But a few cons, and the cons I had with it are usually the cons I have with most airsoft. You know, it is a game of honor, and you almost inevitably come up against kids who are either unwilling or unable to either call hits or at least follow proper criteria set out by the cadre. And so, you know, the experience overall was very good, but it did lessen the experience when you have some speed soft kid running around, obviously getting very hit by the BBs, but not stopping, not controlling his trigger, and then argues with you that you didn't trade with him. So that's the nature of the sport. I just have to get over it, I think. But anyway, onto my kit. So I have everything laid out here that I bought with me, and I just want to talk sort of about the kit, the good, some of the lessons learned, because this is an evolution. You're always testing kit out. You're always trying new things here. So just to start with my uniform, just a standard multicam top and bottom. This is probably Ido gear. I've had this for ages off of Amazon. It worked fine. The knee pads were great. You know, you're running around a lot of metal and concrete and glass, and so knee pads I think are a definite. Elbow pads as well if you're that clumsy. Thankfully I got out unscathed, but overall the uniform, I've had these for ages and they work just fine. Never have an issue with them. So very good there. You know, lots of pockets. I can keep things like my medical gloves. I can keep my dead rags. I put some snacks in there. I was living off of Welch's fruit snacks, which I love to death, and those are very helpful. For my boots, I'm still using my Garmont G8 Bifidias. I've had these now for quite a while. These are excellent. They hold up really well. As long as I've had these, I'll say I've never had a blister with them. I've put some miles on them. They fit really well. They're comfortable, and the best part about, they're also really quiet. You know, if you're walking around an urban area or even a wooded area, you know, your footsteps can be loud. And I don't hear any footsteps when I walk with these. So really nice. Hold up really well. Definitely get these out. They're not super expensive either, and they'll last forever. All right. For my headwear, I have my old, I was trying to remember who I got this from. I really think it's Matrix off of Evike. Just a bump helmet here. Simple Ido gear helmet cover. It does the job. I did upgrade. I have a hard hat veterans padding set on the inside. This is sort of like a gel padding, very comfortable. And then I did upgrade to the Team Wendy strap kit. The strap actually probably cost more than the entire helmet setup did, but I'm able to adjust it, and it does help the helmet fit a bit snug. on the head. For my ear pro, I'm using just some Earmore. I don't even know which ones these are. Just some Earmore, because I was using a radio most of the time. We'll talk about that in a moment. Good ear protection, maybe not as good as your Walkers or your Howard Lights, which I think next go around is probably what I'm going to use. But other than that, helmet worked really well. With all the grenades that were going off, especially in the hallways, you definitely had to have an ear pro. I felt bad for the people who didn't bring any ear pro. I feel bad for them Monday morning. And then of course on front, I used a GoPro. If you've seen the channel, you've seen the video already of me using the GoPro. That was quite an experience. Need to figure out how to do low light with it, but otherwise, very good. All right, so that's the helmet. Kept me safe. All right, what's next? We'll talk about face protection. We'll talk about the face first. So I got something new I wanted to check out, and big thanks to Muddy Reviews for encouraging me to come get this. This is from NB Tactical in Germany, and this is their kind of frontal face protection. It just kind of goes over your face right there, and then when you wear the balaclava, you just slip it in the balaclava. So this is very similar to that wire mesh square thing that Evike sells for about $12, $13. I'll do an in-depth review on the NB stuff in a bit, but I got the balaclava, which is very nice and stretchy in good places, well ventilated, and then with the mesh mask, this went over my face. I was shot in the face quite a bit, and with the exception of maybe one unlucky BB that hit me right at the cleft above my lip, this did very well. So review coming of this stuff very, very soon. For my iPro, put that down there. For my iPro, I started using, I don't know where it went. It's gone missing. But NB Tactical, their Ghost goggles. I started using those. I honestly wore them for less than an hour because they got very sweaty and condensation buildup inside, despite anti-fog. So I don't think I'm going to use those anymore. What I did is I went back to the refit area and I put my revision Desert Locusts back on. So these were really good. I've had these forever. Changed the lenses out, inside, outside. Super comfortable. Really don't have any fogging issues even when I forget to put the anti-fog on. These work just fine. So I'm just going to go back to using these, and I'll keep the NB ones I think as a spare. For gloves, Pig Tactical. Don't have to talk about those. Everyone knows what they are. All right, on to the weapon. For my primary here, I still have my Barrett Rec 7. Crytek, had this now for nearly 2 years, and I've still got the stock hop up, the stock gearbox. I know I've changed the motor out to something else. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. And then I have changed to a tight bore in a barrel, and I do have a Prometheus purple bucking. So nothing special. I can get about 1.45 joules with a .2 BB out of it. Get good range, and it's fairly accurate, though with some of the shenanigans going on at this event, I'm not entirely sure how accurate it is, because some of the engagements, you're fairly certain you're hitting your target, but they're not exactly calling it. I have my Holosun green dot up top. Very good little cover on it, because this isn't cheap. And then for my light, I am using an Olight. Don't judge me. I bought this a long time ago on a sale, and in this kind of event, it was a lot of indoors, and it was a lot of blacked out storefronts, and the hallway was pitch black. So you needed to use a white light. It performed well. There were, as the first game went on, you know, I can kind of feel the performance of it started going down, and I think the touchpad has started to fail on it already. So, and I haven't really used this very much. So that's a bit disappointing. But I'm going to stick with it until it breaks, and I'll just go get something else. quick note, in quick lesson learned about my weapon. The fuse did go out in the back. Thank God RPS Airsoft were there. Big thank you to that team, because they were able to fix the fuse, and they also reset my motor to sound a bit better. So definitely, if you ever see them at an event, give them some business, please. For the front, did not use a tracer, and that was a mistake. I think that moving forward, if I'm ever playing an indoor game, I'm going to bring a tracer unit. It was very hard to see where your BBs were landing to adjust your fire, and I think having a tracer unit on, as opposed to just depending on the white light, which gave away your position, is a lesson learned. So when we go back in February, definitely going to have a tracer for that. Anyway, the weapon performed really well. I've got a Frank Proctor sling on here. Can't say anything much about that. Everyone knows it. It's fantastic. Yeah, really good. The weapon performed really well, and it's still here. So am I. All right. For my sidearm, just my Elite Force Glock 17. It fits in all my Glock 19 real steel holsters. So yeah, got to use a bit of pistol, which was nice for some of the tight areas, and again, worked really well. For my magazines, I was just using my Crytac 140 mid caps here. I've got a bunch of these here. We'll talk about magazines when I get to the belt setup, but overall performed really well. No issues there. So again, I'll use these till they break, and I'll find something new. All right, so for my belt setup, I've only just started recently using a belt for airsoft. I've really gone without using a pistol for a long time, just because it's dead weight most of the time. You don't really need it, but I'm forcing myself to use one just to get used to it, I think is the best way to put it. So for my belts, this is something I picked up recently. This is a Platattack SICC belt from them. Looks just like all the other competitors that are out there, like your Rodin or something like that. It's got that Tegris kind of flexible plastic interior, so it's really stiff, really rigid. And I found that it's held the gear I carried on it, which is really just a pistol holster, magazines, dump pouch. I did have a medical pouch in the back, but I just took that off. And it just worked. I barely noticed it was there. I was using I tried to use a Tier Tactical similar belt that did not have any rigidity to it. You used a very thick, stiff inner belt and then put this around the outside. I used that for about 5 minutes. I took it off, it was awful. So don't buy that one, buy better. For my inner belt, just a side note, for my inner belt, I was using this no-name one off of Amazon that I found to fit, and something that came with is it actually has a hook, so you can adjust it with the Velcro, but then it has a little hook system, so you can just hook it up and hook it. And I was very wary about that part, but I'll tell you what, when you need to take the belt off and use the bathroom, especially the porta potties, just being able to unclip it and then unclip it back in, that was super useful. So think about that, kids, when you need to go to the bathroom. So for my setup, for my belt setup, I have a Safariland Glock 19 holster there, just standard. I have an S-Tac Kiwi 2 mag and a rifle mag holster there. Worked really well, didn't lose a mag all weekend, at least not out of my pouches. I'll talk about that in a second. For my dump pouch, I started using my ATS Tactical dump pouch. This is again, just a small standard, nothing special dump pouch there, just put stuff in there. I'm not going to use this for airsoft anymore, and I'll tell you why. Once you start putting mags in here, there's not a lot of retention. And I actually lost a magazine out of here when I was running or crawling or being dragged. I don't know when, but there's a magazine around that outlet mall that belongs to me. Other than that, like when I'm on the flat range or if I'm just doing some light work, this works like a charm. But I think if you're doing any kind of rapid movement, you know, you need something a bit better. So I actually, again, after the first game, went back to my old Condor dump pouch, and this is just a bit bigger. It's got, you know, this kind of nice retention is a bit further down, and it just works. I didn't lose any mags after that, so big +1 there. All right, now onto the big boy, the plate carrier. So I chose to go with a plate carrier for this event because everything was very close quarters. You're less than 20 yard engagements, sometimes a lot closer. You're running in the rooms, you're taking a lot of hits to the body, a lot of hits to the face. And with the grenades, I also wanted just a little bit of coverage. So this is my ATS Tactical. You've seen this before. I've had this Aegis version 2 for a couple of years, and it's working out really well. On the front, I just have some ATS Tactical bungee retention there. That worked fine. I've got a Plat Attack double mag pouch here, ATS Tactical GP pouch with just random things in here. I didn't have to carry too much this event because it's a small venue and the staging area wasn't too far away. It was just like a 2-minute walk to get back to the staging area. So, but I just carried some things in there just in case. Plus, just kept the pouch on because I wanted to try it out. Baofeng radio. I did run a radio for this. I used the Baofeng PTT on the front, going into my EMOR headset. Transmission reception was good, except when you moved too far away from your team. You know, it's a shopping mall. It's a lot of concrete. It's a lot of metal. There was a lot of radio interference, and for a casual sort of event like this, you really don't need radios. You're not running squad comms. You're not really doing coordination with other groups. And everyone just stopped using the radios about halfway through the first game. So, but again, I wanted to try it out and just see how it worked. On the left side, because I'm left-handed, tourniquet, just Sword USA. I've had this for years. This hasn't moved. That's always there. I have an MDOM GP pouch in here. This is just where I kept my phone, notepad, some flat goods in there. And then this is my ATS Tactical. This is my Real Steel Trauma Kit. Again, leaving it right there just in case I need it. And on the back, again, I've had this now for close to 10 years. This is my MDOM vehicle hydration pouch. It's got a 2-liter sauce in there. And then I forgot I even put it in here, but I just have a little bit of extra medical kit, gauze bandages, ACE bandages, just like a sports injury kit that you've seen me talk about before in other videos. So kit held up really well. I'm just using foam pads in there. There was a guy running steel plates and his Team Wendy helmet, and I think after about an hour of the first game, he had taken it off and changed into something else. So overall, the kit held up really well. Was really happy, I had a really good time. A big shout out to the Lion Claws team. I do enjoy the level of attention and detail. And I also appreciated the fact that they were enforcing uniform rules on this. Again, you know, being an old man in this, you see some of the kids running around and doesn't look like they've really understood what's being told to them. So, you know, they were a bit strict, but I'm okay with that. This is an event. The friendly fire was real. I probably hit more of my own teammates than I did the other team. Apologies for that. Lots of grenades going off. So overall, had a really good time. Look forward to the back one again in February, and probably going to do that in Desert Fox next year. So we'll see how we do. Anyway, I'm Jack. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, just please leave them at the bottom, and we will see you out there. Thanks very much.